Hi, this is Dr.Pris Selvaraj from the Psychology Department at Simmons University. I wanted to start today by asking you a simple question. How happy are you right now? If you have to put yourself in a scale from 0, which is not at all happy, to 10, a great deal, really happy, where would you place yourself? I'll give you a second for you to just think about how you feel, and when you have a number, I would encourage you to write it down somewhere, right? And we'll come back to it. I asked in my class, and there were about 30 students, and asked them what do they think makes people happier, and they came up with all these wonderful things. You may agree with a lot of different things here, and you may see that a lot of different things that are mentioned here are also the ones that a lot of people in research have agreed on. I thought it was very fun that my students came up with these. So I did come up with this challenge for you Pris today, and wanted to just pose a few questions. I want you to reflect on these, about the feelings of what you think about these aspects, and think about it and see if you can write a few comments below in the video as you look up for these answers and the feelings that you have in relation to these. So when we think of a beautiful day that we try to live, the aspects that make us beautiful are the ones that make us happy, right? So I think it's important for us to first start by talking about how do we define happiness. So I see happiness as having two components. The basic way in which Ed Diener, a positive psychologist, actually defines happiness is cognitive component and an affective component. So the positive emotions are the affective components, like the sense of pride, tranquility, interest, enthusiasm, joy, curiosity, affection, and so on. And the cognitive component is that idea that you have a sense of your life that is good and that you're satisfied with life. So these are aspects of what I consider as happiness, and it's really subjective concept. So when you think about the how of happiness, studies say that this is a well-known chart, like a pie chart that a researcher suggested, where 50% of individual differences in happiness can be accounted for by the genetic differences, as revealed by like twin studies. Another 10% are accounted for by various circumstantial variables like ethnicity or socio-economic status, marital status, and age, and so on. So this leaves us with 40% of variance for intentional activities that we can do to make an effort where we are able to increase happiness in a long run. So these intentional activities provide happiness boosting potential, and in some case this actually ends up being more larger, having a larger influence than the circumstance. So if you are a truly happy individual, you can skew the events happening to you in a positive way, and that kind of reinforces you and you become much more happier. And in the other way, it reinforces your unhappiness because of the way that you can skew it. So this kind of helps us to put together like a character sketch of who are happy people. What are some characteristics of people who are happy? They are more productive, they have high quality of work, quality of life, surrounded by good social, have social support, friends, family. They engage in activities, have better health, low stress, have long life, are good leaders, For a long time, researchers and people in different cultures thought that happy people actually are self-centered, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of cultures even did not really encourage people in pursuing happiness, or having happiness as the central focus of life, because it somehow felt like you become more egocentric or self-centric. However, studies have now shown that happiness, in fact, makes people who are happy are more generous, they are more helpful, they engage in more philanthropic activities and altruistic activities, and show more compassion, are more resilient. And this definitely helps us to open our idea of being a happy person ourselves. So today we're going to focus specifically on gratitude. Gratitude, you can think of gratitude and using acronyms like acknowledgement, appreciativeness, or thankfulness. So it is when you are grateful for someone for something they've done, or you're grateful for something in you, and this is like the basic definition you can think of. So cultivating the habit of being grateful is really important, that positive psychology emphasizes on. So let's begin first by thinking about 10 things that comes to our mind today that makes us feel grateful. So what are 10 things that come right off to your mind? I want you to take a minute, pause the video, write things down, and once you have got it, resume this video back and let's talk about this and reflect a little bit. So now that you have attempted to write a few, I'm curious to know if there was a time when you felt like you were stuck, maybe after your 6th or a 7th or an 8th, or for some even 9. To get to 10 might have been a big stretch, and it's easier to think of 4 or 5 easily, but in my experience, a lot of students have a hard time after that, because one of the reasons studies say that we don't, in a regular basis, we don't engage in this behavior of sitting and thinking, what am I really grateful for? We don't take the time often to think about this. So when you think of gratitude, if I ask you all to put together and read what you have, it's going to come in 2 different ways. Things that you're grateful that you have in your life, things that you are grateful that comes from outside of you to you. So you recognize and acknowledge that. Things that you have outside of you. So by recognizing that, it makes not only people feel gracious, because it can be an intrinsically rewarding process, but simply being grateful for being alive is a great way to motivate oneself to seize the day. The idea that tomorrow is not guaranteed is a strong motivator to some people. And here is list of things that researchers found how grateful people are. If you are a grateful person, you have increased sense of well-being, and so much that you can see decreased depression and anxiety, more satisfaction, and it just gives a different perspective in life. So how do you think we actually express gratitude? This is an important question for us to think about. How do you express gratitude in your life? As you think about these, I want you to engage in an exercise with me just for a few moments now. If you can take a moment to write 3 notes, take a sheet of paper, cut that into 3 pieces, or if you have a card, I would like for you to just write a simple note of gratitude. It could be to people who are very close to you, if you are a student, to people who you don't often think to thank, like your faculty, who you think are supposed to just be teaching, but often they go out of their way to make sure that you're doing fine. They check on you. If there was an interaction with a staff member who took that care and you in the recent past, but you never took a minute to especially thank them, just make sure that you take a minute to think and look back and write a small note of gratitude for them. See if you can write another one to your friend and then to your family member. As you write, I want you to first have 3 pieces of paper in front of you and write down the names as it comes to your mind. A friend, a family member, and someone in school that you can thank. Right? So now that you have all 3, I want you to know that a gratitude note is effective when it is more specific. So don't just go by talking about how grateful you are in general. That is good. But if you can get to specifics of, that day when you did this, and just not talking about, thank you for the guitar you gave me, but I enjoy playing it, and I appreciate you doing, you giving me the guitar. Instead of that, if you would write, thank you for giving the guitar, and the thoughtfulness that goes with it, that you thought about me and you thought how much I enjoy that, and you took your time to go and look for a guitar that I told you about. That is what I appreciate so much, and it means a lot to me that you think of me, and I'm appreciative of that. If you can make it more personal, sincere, and thoughtful and heartfelt, I would really appreciate it. And that's what gratitude notes are supposed to be like. After you have it, I want you to see if you can deliver the ones that you can in person. I want you to say this. This is how I want you to say, because that's how research says is most effective. If you can say, I was asked in my psychology class by my professor that to write a letter or a note to someone that I'm grateful for, and I was given a moment to think, and I thought about you. I just want to read what I have and just go on to read. Just tell them that you don't have to respond. I'm just going to read. I just want you to listen. Just read it to them. See how they take it. After you finish reading, wait for a moment to have their response, and then talk with them. See if you can take a picture of you and them after you have shared, or their experience in a video. If you can capture that after listening to your thoughtful gratitude note, if they would like to tell you how happy they were, see if you can capture that in a video and upload that as a the link here below. That would be really great for others also to see how this works. All right, and see if you can use these hashtags so others can also see here in the university. The other ways that you can express gratitude is writing a letter, and that's considered to be very effective. In addition to having like a visit after you write the letter, if you would take to people and then deliver in person, that's considered to be very effective too. If you can take moments in your daily life and write a journal of things in the day that you're grateful for, and help your children also to see that you do it and also have them do it. It also are good practices where children can learn to express gratitude early in life. In sports, if you click on this, the link would be also given below. If you click here, you can see how in athletics also there was a study done that has proven that the well-being of students will increase substantially. In relationships, it increased substantially too. So it's important for us, especially some people in not just in psychology field of study, everyone, to increase and cultivate this emotion, the feeling of gratitude in our lives. And I hope you all do that and enjoy, and I'm looking forward to hearing wonderful stories of your gratitude interventions and exercises. How did that go? Comment below and I would be happy to comment back. Thank you.